there's no way I'm taking him ahead of guys like Lad McConkey, Xavier Worthy, Jonathan Brooks, Bo Nix. I'll definitely not consider him until those guys are off the board.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Freaks. I'm Jason, he's Vaz, and today we are listing 6 players that we are fading in NFL rookie drafts for the upcoming fantasy football season. The draft has been completed. We know where all the rookies are going. We did a video of 6 guys that we are targeting from our rookie drafts, but these are the 6 that we're fading on our list. So without any further ado, Vaz, let's get started with the first player that you're fading on your target of rookies to draft.
Okay, so let me just first say that I tried to choose one player from round one, one player from around round two, and one player from around round three, just to like space it out a little bit in terms of the players that you're targeting, but or not targeting, I should say. But yeah, my first guy that I'm fading in rookie drafts is Keon Coleman, and right now I see him going around the back end of round one. And I'm going to say that for me, he's firmly at number 14 or possibly even 15 in my rankings. And there's no way I'm taking him ahead of guys like Lad McConkey, Xavier Worthy, Jonathan Brooks, Bo Nix. I'll definitely not consider him until those guys are off the board. I've seen him go ahead of some of these guys in other drafts. And I think it's a mistake because listen, he's not an elite separator. He's not going to command a large target share. I know he went to the landing spot that everybody wanted in the Buffalo Bills, but you know what? They traded back twice to get him. And they were not worried that somebody else would jump in and grab him. Or it's even possible they had another guy ahead of him, like Xavier Legette or Ricky Pearsall, and they got sniped. So, you know what? Like, this guy, he doesn't separate. I'm not even sure he wins contested catches that particularly well. Like, I didn't see somebody who's as elite in those situations as like, you know, T. Higgins or George Pickens, you know, from the Steelers. But he's a good player. I like him. I just don't know if he's that. And I don't think he's gonna gain a bunch of targets. And even though, you know, he's got some red zone potential, Josh Allen still likes to use his legs in the red zone. They've got Kincaid, who's probably even a bigger red zone threat. So I just see that there is an element of risk. There is an element of a bust potential here. So be weary of that and don't take him over guys that like Jonathan Brooks or like Bo Nix, who I think are just much better prospects.
Okay. I think I've got him listed at 14 on my list at the end of tier 4 for me. But yeah, I have no issues with fading him to the second round. My guy that I am fading in round 1 is Drake Maye. And I think a lot of people had Maye as a top 5, perhaps a top 6 pick before the NFL draft. The funny thing is, I think most people figured that he was going to go to the Patriots. So he pretty much landed exactly where everyone thought that he was going to land. And then he's been faded by a lot of people anyway. So he's been listed as high as perhaps 3rd or 4th going into the NFL draft. Now, you know, I see him more like 6 or 7. He's 8 on my big board. I'm okay with even taking him 9 on my list, as late as 9 possibly. I think it kind of cuts off there as a floor. But with me, the thing I just don't like about Maye, I think I've said this before, is it's sort of predicted that he's not going to play much, if any, in the first season of his rookie season. They've got Brissett there, expected to be a bridge quarterback for him. He doesn't really have a lot of weapons. The team is a mess. So the situation for him is not very good. And then on top of that, it's the fact that he's going to have to wait. So you've got 2 things that are falling for him. I don't like it. And he might be good in a couple of years, right? He could be the next Josh Allen or Herbert that people are talking about. But if that's the case, I'd rather go and acquire him going into next season rather than going into this season. I'll bet you could probably get him for about the same price, you know, perhaps even less. Who knows? But the guy that I'm fading in round 1 is Drake Maye.
Yeah, I like this call. You know what? In 12-team SuperFlex leagues, I think personally that quarterbacks are overvalued. you know what? There's 12 teams in your league and there's 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. That means every team should have, 2.5 starting quarterbacks. I think they're a little bit overvalued in 12 team Superflex. If you're playing in a 14 team league, I understand pushing Drake Maye up a little bit higher, but in a 12 team league, I agree with you. I think, guys like Brock Bowers, guys like Rome Odunze, there's no way that you should be. I mean, like you could take May over Bowers if you have a need there, but I think there's no way you should be taking like Roma Dunze over him. He's just too good of a talent at receiver, which is like a very important position in super flex leagues as well. So and this guy and there's other options at quarterback. If JJ McCarthy went to an excellent landing spot, so if you need a quarterback for this season, consider JJ McCarthy over Drake May. The one pushback I'll give you is I've heard that teams like the Giants were offering a boatload to get up to 3. So NFL teams and the New England Patriots as well seem to value Drake May very highly and see the potential for him to be excellent. So I think if you do like Drake May's tape, I think you can be confident with selecting him at like 6 or something like that. But uh, you know, I would say definitely don't move him ahead of Roma Dunze at any point in your process.
Yeah, or certainly, certainly, even Jaden. I've seen him ranked higher than Jaden Daniels in some mock drafts as well. So, yeah, I could not agree with that at all.
Now, I can't do it for you. The inches we need are everywhere around us. What are you gonna do? Like! Subscribe!
Let's take a look at the second guy that you are fading.
The second guy I'm fading is going right now, number 20 overall in Keep Trade Cut, and it's Blake Corum. So he's going mid to late second round in rookie drafts. Blake Corum is, and I really don't like this selection. For me, he's firmly established as the RB2 with the Rams, and I don't think a running back 2 should be going this high, especially where there's like some intriguing receiving options that are going behind him on Keep Trade Cut and in some rookie drafts. Guys like Jalen Polk, Jermaine Burton, Roman Wilson, Troy Franklin are all currently ranked behind Blake Corum, and I would take all 4 of these receivers ahead of him. So I think I'm not considering Blake Corum until like probably early third round because of his situation. I was not particularly high on him either, just on his tape. He's a little bit undersized at 5'8" and 205 pounds. And he's not particularly athletic either. So these guys, sometimes they bust in the NFL. And I don't think he got the draft capital that means he's going to be used as a 1B in that backfield. I think he's firmly established as the 2, the handcuff. So he does have value as a handcuff, but I'm not taking him over receiving prospects that I really like.
Okay, I've got him ranked at 24 on my list, so at the very end of round 2, but if you can get him in round 3, even better. The second guy that I am fading, I've said this, I've been screaming this for the last couple of weeks, is Michael Penix Jr., of course, being drafted 8th overall to the Falcons. Yes, he's talented. Yes, they like him. Yes, other teams like him. And yes, he was expected to even be drafted by the Raiders if he didn't go to the Falcons. And had he been drafted by the Raiders, as an example, I'd probably have him higher on my list. But the fact that he's expected to redshirt at least 1 year, more likely 2 years based on Kirk Cousins' contract, and even possibly 3 years, I am not going to invest much in somebody on my team to sit on my bench for 2 to 3 years. It's just unheard of. And if that's going to be the case, like I said before, I would rather, if I really like him, let somebody else draft him, let him sit on their team, and probably in 2 years from now, you could probably offer like an early second round pick, let's say, to get him. Right now, I have him listed at 18 on my list. So let's say like a mid-second. But would I rather give up a mid-second to get him now, or see how things go and perhaps be able to give up, maybe even pick 112 or 2-1, 2-3, something like that to get him 2 years later? I would much rather do that. So I'm all about, not waiting for things to happen. I want immediate production when I invest in a draft pick. That's why I'm fading Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, I agree with you a little bit on this one. I'm definitely not taking Penix, in the first round of rookie drafts, despite his eighth overall landing spot with the Falcons. But I think there is a time where you do take him because I think like second round picks, they have some bust potential. Second round rookie picks, I should say. And I think, if you can get him in the early second round and you are committed to holding him, then he's an okay pick in my mind because with that kind of investment from the Atlanta Falcons, he will be the starting quarterback eventually. So there are some rosters that could use a player like him. Like if you have a rebuilding roster, if you have a roster that's not really ready to compete right now, I think he's a good play as long as you are fully committed to waiting on him. Don't get antsy and trade him down the road. No, you got to wait. You got to hold him for 3 years because Kirk Cousins is probably going to play the next 3 years for the Falcons. I expect. Before Cousins got hurt, he was playing like at an MVP level, and he's got great weapons with Atlanta as well. I expect him to play well. So just if you do draft him, I will be drafting him around 15 or 16, so a bit sooner than you are. But if you do draft him, be aware of what you're getting yourself into.
Hey, how about this one? If you have Kirk Cousins on your team and you have a early second round pick, I have no problem drafting him if I have Cousins on my roster, because then not only is he a good backup, but then that you've got him for the future, because for the future, as you mentioned, he's got good young weapons that he'll have at his disposal when he does start. So I believe in him when he does become the starter. I just don't want to wait that long.
I think that's a great point we could probably make here. If you want to draft Penix in the early second round, consider trying to grab Kirk Cousins right now. I think Kirk Cousins' value is probably a little bit low right now. You could probably get him for like an early second round pick, and then you could get yourself an established quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons locked in for 2 early second round picks, and then 3 years from now it's possible you have 2 starting quarterbacks. So that's something you could consider as well if you do like Penix.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully set for the next 10 years at QB. Who do you like, or I should say dislike, for your third player that you're fading?
Okay, my third fade is Will Shipley. A running back who I did not like pre-draft. I did not like his tape at all. I didn't see a running back that was particularly special in any facet. I didn't see somebody that could run run between the tackles well. I didn't see somebody who could catch the ball particularly well either, make guys miss in the open field. I didn't see any of that. And then he went to, in my opinion, a horrible landing spot in the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got Saquon there. Saquon's clearly the 3-down back. Like, he's one of the best running backs in football, and they gave him a ton of money. So Will Shipley's competing with Kenneth Gainwell. Yeah, Kenneth Gainwell for the number 2 role. And I don't even think he's going to win that. But I don't even think the number 2 role in that offense is anything that exciting, I think if something happened to Saquon, then yeah, like maybe Kenneth Gainwell and Will Shipley could share touches, but I think they'd probably even bring in another running back. So I'm fading Will Shipley. I don't think he's going to be the number 2 back there. I don't think he's capable of winning that job over Gainwell. And as I said, Saquon is just firmly established there for the next 3 years. So yeah, hard fade for me. And he's going like in round 3 of fantasy drafts, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah, if you look back at the running backs that were in New York behind Barkley, they never did anything unless Barkley ever got hurt. So there's a fine example of what you can expect out of Gainwell this year, as well as perhaps Shipley. Third guy that I'm fading is Audric Estimé, running back for the Broncos. He's been going in the third round, and for me, he's like in the 40s on my list. I don't like his tape very much. When I look at his tape, most of his highlights are against lesser teams. So like when you see him make something or break free, it's like, whoa, that's just not going to happen in the NFL. So I don't like his tape. On top of that, I've said before that I like my running backs to be on good teams that are going to win, that are going to have third quarter and fourth quarter leads. I don't see that with the Broncos for the next few years. And I don't see how Estimé is going as high as he is in drafts as it is. So he's a guy that I'm fading, not even a consideration for me to take with a third round draft pick.
Yeah, I totally agree with you here. Listen, Estimé, he ran a very slow 40 time, 4.71. Running backs that run that slow just don't ever hit. I think I've said this previously. There's like one in like 1,000 running backs have hit with a 40 time below 4.7. Like, it just doesn't happen. And like you said, he got drafted to a terrible location. It's going to be hard for him to see the field there. I agree with you here. Do not take Audric Estimé.
All right, there you have it. 6 players that we are fading in rookie drafts for the upcoming season in 2024. What do you think about our list? We did a like video as well in terms of guys that we are targeting. But these are the guys that we are trying to avoid in our drafts. Do you agree with these? Let us know in the comment section below, or also let us know on our Facebook page where we are responding to your community questions and comments as well. The description, the link is in the description below, so click on that to join our Facebook page. And otherwise, remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time on Fantasy Football Freaks.